Thank you. I have the good fortune of knowing more about diversity in content than probably anybody, any African American in the country, because I've been the beneficiary of diversity in creating black entertainment television. I also had the pleasure of dealing with diversity with Senator Markey, because Senator Markey was present at the creation and the establishment of the landmark cable bill that allowed cable to compete against broadcasting, which led to this plethora of diversity of channels that you have. And Senator Blumenthal may not remember this, but there was a diversity in the airlines industry when he was Attorney General, and I was starting an airline out of a breakup of United and US Airways. So these gentlemen are committed to diversity, and I spoke with Congresswoman Eshoo, and I can tell you her credibility and her commitment to this is without question. In fact, it stands in stark contrast to Congresswoman Yvette Clarke of the Congressional Black Caucus. Let me make this point. There are probably 12 million African Americans who are cable subscribers. Some of you may not know this, but the median net worth of an African American household is about $13,000. Why would to make 4 African American cable company owners wealthy? And I know how wealthy they are, because when I ran BET and I sold it to Viacom, I sold it for $4 billion. So explain to me why, when you have a technological revolution that can say to African American consumers, keep that $231 in your pocket, still get cable, but get more diversity. Because for 20 years, BET was the only cable channel. Not because there weren't thousands of Bob Johnsons who could have offered divergent voices. It's because the cable system controls access. What the creation of a technology that would allow thousands of African Americans, and I know them, they walk around with scripts, they walk around with storylines, they walk around with programs, and you can hear from one young lady today about that, who want to get to the mass audience. The way the business works, and all of you know this, I can have the greatest program in the world, and I go to an advertiser and I say, General Motors, I want you to let me produce this program. They would say, where are you going to put it on? How many households are going to see it? And when the answer is none, they say, we can't pay you to produce a show with no viewers. Now, why are there thousands of African Americans, as we found out with the whole idea of Oscars So White, waiting to be seen, waiting to be heard, waiting to be exposed to the 32 plus million African Americans in this country, the 13 million households? They're being locked out because there's not a universal access to content. I'm launching 2 channels. Already launched one of them called Acorn TV, British Misters and Dramas, and a company that I own. We've got another channel called the Urban Movie Channel, a chance to put thousands of African Americans to work by coming up with a technology that allows people to go down and buy their own box, one-time payment. Millions of African Americans would have more and more choices, rather than 4 people being protected by asking poor working class families in Yvette Clarke's district in Brooklyn to pay $231 to have a set-top box. And that's not all. They have to pay on top of that. Many of these 4 channels, keep in mind, they're not on the basic tier. They're on the elevated digital tier. So you got to pay an additional amount to get these channels. So someone would have to explain to me why, when President Obama has come out in support of this, why, when the one African American commissioner, Mignon Clyburn, has come out in support of this, why is certain members of the Congressional Black Caucus, and not all of them, because Bobby Scott told me personally, and he would have been here today had he not had a committee hearing, that he supports getting rid of this mandatory payment to get cable. Why are they doing that? And certainly not in the best interest of working class African Americans who watch more television than any other population group as a percentage, who consume content as a greater percentage than the population in the marketplace. But yet, today, with families struggling to make ends meet, the cable operators and some of our national civil rights organizations, read something by Jesse Jackson, comparing the set-top box to dogs being unleashed on civil rights demonstrators and people being sprayed with cannon fire hoses. Somebody has to explain to me, and believe me, I understand business, I understand making money, but there's no reason today when the technological revolution changed that kept minorities from paying for that black cell phone, black telephone, when they couldn't afford it, paying for other products when they can't afford it, to pay for $231 so they can watch 4 channels owned by 4 wealthy men who have no obligation to give anything back to them when they do an exit strategy, such as I did with BET. It is unconscionable, it is unacceptable when the technology is there to change it. Thank you.
Right.